is to persuade you that we can win. I don't need to persuade anybody in this room or anybody watching me right now. I don't need to persuade you that things are bad. We all know things are bad. I think my job is to persuade you that there's a plan that is both systemic enough, concrete enough, that could actually transform the society that we live in. But even deeper than that, I'm going to challenge you to recognize this, that no matter how wonderful a consumer choice is, it is not political power. See, political power would be the opportunity to participate in a meaningful way with the decisions that affect our lives. You know, things like the XL pipeline that is actually going to clearly impact our lives. The question about whether Social Security will be slashed. You know, the kinds of things that really matter to us on the day-to-day. I submit this to you. We have very few opportunities for meaningful participation to actually influence those things, right? And so consumer choices are fine, but let's just be very clear, it's not the same thing as robust political power, which is why I'm so proud that we're being sponsored by Democracy for America and Progressive Democrats of America and Move On and a local Move to Amend local affiliate, all coordinating, coming together, because those are the groups that are actually creating mechanisms by which we can exercise power. We don't have formal opportunities other than voting once every 2 to 4 years. Now I want to be clear, I vote. Right? I've run for office, I vote, I believe in voting, but if you want systemic change and all you ever do is go and pull a lever every 2 to 4 years, you're wasting your time. Right? If you want systemic change, we've got to vote and get involved in organizations that are actually helping to collectivize power and to actually make demands. Right? So I'm going to tell a story today, and as I tell this story, I want to challenge you to challenge me to make sure and ask yourself, is this a story that only political progressives can hear and understand? Or has Move to Amend figured out a way to tell a story that will cut across political ideologies, cut across party affiliations and labels, and actually unite us around a shared analysis of how our democratic republic is supposed to operate?
In our day, certain economic proofs have become accepted as self-evident. A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed. Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation, the right of every farmer raise and sell his products at a return which will give him and his family a decent living. The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom, freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad. The right of every family to a decent home, the right to adequate medical care, and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health. The right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment. The right to a good education. All of these rights spell security. And after this war is won, we must be prepared to move forward in the implementation of these rights to new goals of human happiness and well-being. For unless there is security here at home, there cannot be lasting peace in the world.
I stand for codifying a new social contract, and I will now take off the Move to Amend hat and put on the David Cobb hat and say the social contract I want to be part of says we have access to health care as a fundamental human right. Every human being has enough food to eat. Everybody has adequate housing in this country. We need to start talking like that, y'all. As Americans, we need to start talking like that. I would say is this. The world that I want to live in, we need a broad and deep social movement pushing it. At some point, a fork in the road will come, and we'll have to decide, or I will have to decide, and others that I work with, do we have the political movement to actually get her done? in Congress, or do we actually go through a constitutional convention process? The reason I'm ambivalent is because I don't know right now, and I don't pretend to know right now. I do know this, that the world that I'm living in now ain't the one I want to live in, because I'll go one step further. The United States of America is racist, it's sexist, it's class oppressive, and I'd like to be part of a different United States of America.